Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another capsule selection series. Today I'm here to present to you guys a tandem review. One thing I love putting together for you guys, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be on Xerjoff's K Collection Astaral, which is a beautifully floral, sweet, oriental style fragrance that I'm falling deeply and head over heels for right now for the season. It's coming off spectacularly. And secondly, we're going to go over the Drew Estate M81 Blackened cigar, which is a collaborative cigar between Metallica, Blackened Whiskey, and Drew Estates. If this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Cheers. Today, as stated, we're going to get into a tandem review series. It's a capsule of two things that I've been going over this past late summer to early fall. The cigar is the aforementioned Blackened cigar in collaboration with the brand Drew Estates, and they collaborated with the band Metallica, which was formed in 1981, given the moniker and name, the Blackened M81, as well as the Blackened Whiskey Company out of Tennessee. Let's get right into the cigar. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to presentation for the Blackened M81 cigar, what you will see here is a dusty cacao colored cigar wrapper. This is built on let's get this out the way. The construction of the actual cigar is a wrapper made from Mexican San Andreas Maduro. The filler is a Connecticut broadleaf, the Connecticut River Valley broadleaf, and the binders are a combination of Nicaraguan and Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro. This is a cigar that is Maduro to the core, which in essence is a 3-region or even 4-region, but constitute 3 different Maduro leaves in blending. It's a very, as I'm stating here looking at the cigar, it is a very veiny cigar. Each cigar I've smoked in this particular line, this is the last of a pack of 5. Each one has been particularly dusty cacao, no sheen to it at all. Very, very veiny, thick, heavy, robust leaf as a Maduro wrapper from San Andreas. It is also a bit toothy, meaning there's a lot of oil structure inside of the cigar while not bringing any sheen to it. The Blackened band is a very simplistic Blackened band moniker and logo from their whiskey, and the bottom band is the Metallica 81 along with Drew Estate in a black and copper. A very classy and classic looking cigar. This is the Toro size with a 52 ring gauge, and they constitute this as a Nicaraguan cigar as the origin. As I stated, this is a band or a blend from Drew Estate, and that is the construction and appearance. Very nicely done. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into what it was the cigar gave me as a smoking pleasure, I'll state first this, to me, this was a very bold cigar in its taste profile and the way that it came across in its long finishes and its ability to convey the complexity of each wrapper, binder, and filler leaf in this particular cigar. The flavor profile, which I got in abundance, was a very complex blend of spices. I would say, to me, in my smoking cigar, the behaviors that I like going into the fall, which are heavier cigar smokes, Maduro, and a lot of Nicaraguan based, high pepper content, high spice content. So this one to me came off as a very pleasant smoke in the way that the spice blend came about. The spice blend to me was a notion that picked up and constituted cinnamon, nutmeg, and black pepper, especially in the first third. The first third came off very much so complex in the way it was built around the structures of blending in spice accords, along with a very long leather finish accord. To me, the leather finish was complemented by those spices, and the way I pick up the leather in this one is more of a particular, not exactly the textures and aromas of some leathers that I've come across, but it's more of a smell of a burning birch. And if you understand what the leather content of cigars and aromas can give you as a profile, that burning birch smell is something that you will pick up in if you are on this channel for perfumery. you'll understand the burning birch or smoky birch from a batch of older Ventus. That is a leathery, woody tone that is it's wispy and ethereal, while so much of the construction is built around the everlasting notion of it. So it's a very long finish, but not something that's overpowering or overtaking. It's a very pleasant smell inside of cigars. The first third was very pleasant, like I stated. Came off with a lot of the spice blend, a lot of the woody accords of the birch. I had a lot of oak, smoky oak in this particular cigar in the first third. The transition from the first third to the second third was one of the more pleasant parts of this particular cigar, because that initial blast of black pepper became a more subtle effect to this particular cigar, which I like. I'm a fan of black pepper in my cigars, but I'm more in tune with and in tone with coffee espressos, leathery based cigars, and things that come off with a smoky tone of, so to speak, smoky, heavy woods. And then, of course, one of my favorite profiles, which did peak its heads up in this particular cigar, which is the dark mulled fruit accords. And that's one thing I particularly loved about this cigar going to the second third, was the mulled fruits. The darkened mulled fruits came out in abundance in the second third, which gave me the most pleasant smoking of this particular cigar. Each one gave the same profile, which gives it the utmost credibility for its construction and the way they put the cigar together. Those fruits were, in my mind, I could put together the sweet apricot, you could put together the dark cherry, tart cherries, and also dark plum accords inside of a mulled fruit that will come off this particular cigar essence. That was very, very enjoyable going into the first and second, third transition. The smoke time of that first and second, third transition was about 25 to 35 minutes, which made that transition from that nice nostril opening pepper, very zingy, very peppery, very making the tongue pick up a liveliness while opening your taste buds, but then it goes to that subtleness of the fruits and the wood accords that made you pick up all those things, because the tongue was ready for that profile and salivating. Going into the third and the final third of this particular cigar, the cigar construction was, I wouldn't say perfect on each one, but the four cigars, two of them had a wonky burn to them, and that could be because I was smoking two of them outdoors. Well, I smoked all of them outdoors, but the wind was, you can put a factor in on the wind or how it blows across when you have the cigar in your mouth, and how it settles on its perch. So that could have an effect of that as well. I did not smoke any of these indoors, so I can't really give that a knock, because two of them where I did not feel windy days and I wasn't walking around and catering to my yard or having fun outside. They were very, very straightforward razor ash, white ash that came off very, the smoke was bold, the smoke draw was great, the smoke draw was very billowing. The bold taste, the textures of the cigar was also a refining point for the cigar to bring about as well. I very much so enjoyed how the smoke was easy to retrohale for me, because like I said in previous videos, it's not something I enjoy doing any longer. Even though it was very spicy in this kick, it did not give me something that was overpowering and didn't feel well going through my nostrils and my nasal canal. The third and final cigar, the presence that it gave to me was one of something I would go back to, but something I wouldn't necessarily seek out. These are flavors that were abundant in this particular cigar and blended complexly, but at the same time, it was a very, very bold cigar that I would think that if I wanted the cigar again, the complexities of this one were grand, but I would have to be in a certain mood to particularly go for this cigar again. It was one and is one that I would say is highly rated. I did enjoy this particular cigar in its taste profiles. It does pick up on a lot of, also, it had a very, very peculiar coffee accord that would peek its head out. And that's one of the things that, to me, when it's wispy and it can escape you when you're smoking cigars, certain profiles you want to be picked up on and kept. And this one for me, I kept picking up a coffee profile, but it was leading and then chasing and leading and chasing. It was something I was trying to understand what made that, and that could be an issue in the the filler leaves where they didn't construct them properly, or they may even have that as the blend, and it may just be something I'm picking up on as a nuance that I want more of, and I'm not getting it from a particular cigar as a total blend. But all in all, the Blackened cigar smoked very well. It was very pleasant to smoke. I smoked one with a Sauvignon Blanc, 2 by themselves, and then the 4th one I smoked that one with a Macallan 12 straight with no chaser. And that was a pretty good smoking session for me to go along with this particular cigar. I have not had a chance to try the Blackened whiskey. That is not something I've seen in my community as a purchase option, so I have not had the opportunity to smoke that, but I believe that the Blackened whiskey with this one and the way they constitute this construction may have given it something much more pleasant and bringing out some of those fruit accords, some of those soft vanilla sweetness accords, some of the actual wood and oak, bringing out some of the cask accords would have been better for me with the experience. I can't say it for factual, but I think it may have been. But all in all, it's a good cigar. I think that it has been championed as a good cigar by many different reviewers, and I second that notion that it is a good, bold cigar that anyone who has that penchant for bold cigars with great flavor profiles of pepper, spiced accords of nutmeg, cinnamon, and then transferring to a smoky oak, smoky birch leather, long on the leather finish, long on the leather accord, as well as mulled fruits, and then to a coffee espresso, which is wispy and clean throughout that, picking up and going away throughout the cigar. They will enjoy this particular cigar. So that is the M81 Blackened cigar by Drew Estate. Very good smoking cigar. I think anyone should get a chance to try it, especially if this comes and sounds like it's in your taste profile. Very good cigar. And so next up, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the scent profile. I think anyone, this is what I'm going to enjoy talking about. Very complex fragrance. Astaral by the house of Kimmy, sub-brand Kimmy by the house of Xerjoff. Phenomenal bottle. I mean, look at that. It's so ornate. I hope the camera is picking this up as well as it has been designed. The cap is so ornate, beautifully done. This is one of the better presentations. If you like things like this, something as far as bottle presentation, this is one of the better bottle presentations as far as giving it everything that they have to give to make this a standalone countertop attraction. And scent-wise, this particular scent is a crescendo of olfactory art. This thing, the fragrance deploys some of the most fantastic blending that I've smelled in a very long time when it comes to the oriental presence of rose, labdanums, sweet florals, spicy notes, and a new accord which goes by the name of the Shamama accord. Now, I'm not saying that's a new accord in the world, but it is a new accord according to putting it into fragrances as its own accord. I've never ever seen that before in a fragrance, and I think Xerjoff, when they put that into this fragrance, they expected this to be something that would be elegantly made, fantastic for evening elegance and date nights, while also giving a presence to the fall and winter as a upscale style of fragrance, and that they have done in spades. This particular fragrance has quickly become a top 20 fragrance for me. I won't put it any higher in its range of top 10 or anything like that because I haven't had it long enough, not experienced enough scent memories with it to give it anything higher. But as a scent, the way that this thing comes off is a spectacularly complex build that I am very much so having a great time with. It is a very fun fragrance to wear. It is a very uplifting fragrance to wear. It's effervescence, it's floral, it's very, very spicy, it's very oriental smelling while not smelling too far Eastern, as in some of the high-end oud accords. They become barnyard or fecal, but it does have an oud accord that gives us this very regal feel when it comes to the wood accords that come and pop their heads up. It's a mossy fragrance, a patchouli fragrance that has some of that sweet chocolatey patchouli in it, but nothing in this particular fragrance takes it out of its great blending complexity. The way that this was put together is exactly how you want to smell it, in my opinion. There is nothing in this particular scent coming from the top notes, which is the Shamama accord, pink pepper, which is a lively, very lively, interjecting itself into the opening freshness of the scent, because there is an opening freshness, not something citrus fresh, but more spicy fresh, which you know pink pepper or sometimes coriander can do. You also have an aniseed, which is slightly, it's a slightly sweetened accord. That the anise seed in this one does not come off like licorice. You smell it and it's almost, to not put off the how it will smell, but it just, the anise seed almost comes off like a mustard seed accord, which is that very heady. It gives you something that it just really fulfills a sensation inside your nostrils and opens up your mind, opens up the scent canal. It then transitions to the very, very beautiful part of this particular scent, which to me is the drawing part, the alluring part, the sensual part, which is the rose, amberwood, sweet, sticky labdanum, and violet. That makes it, to me, one of the better fragrances that I'm coming in contact with this year, because of the way the violet accord connects itself to the rose, and that thick labdanum and amberwood makes it sweet, warm, floral, resinous, and sexy as hell. This, to me, if anyone, I would say this, if anyone is interested in getting away from the normative fragrances for fall, the usual characters of tobacco, the usual characters of heavy ouds, the usual characters of vanillas and ambers, this fragrance to me is quickly becoming a pedestal in that type of arena, where I don't want to continually reach for some of the fragrances that are boring us continuously. That is what the K collection is doing as well, because I stated that in the past with it. Ether is doing that for me, and Astaral is doing that for me when it comes to making fragrances that are far, far from the norm, but very, very compliment worthy, compliment garnering, as well as scents that do not put you into a situation where you don't feel comfortable. So it's just on the edge of artistic creativity, while also being still able to go into mainstream living every day without feeling having to look over your shoulder because you think you may smell a certain presence that you don't want to smell right and like in your days. So to me, once the head comes through with those sweet seeds and the effervescence of pink peppers, it goes to that sweet floral accord of the mid. You then transition to the base, which is a sexy, as I stated, ambergris accord, oud, patchouli, and a sweet, sweet cedar, almost like a Texas cedar accord in the base of this. All those come together to make one of the better smelling fall fragrances. It's very, very peculiar the way you have the spatial effect of the seeds and the spatial effect of the florals give it this headiness, and it's very much so. I can't even think of anything else that I've smelled that comes close to what this puts off. The only thing I will say this, the only thing in my collection is I conjure a thought, and I'm going through the library in my head, the only fragrance that I can see coming within about 60% of this is the fragrance by Yves Saint Laurent, which is M7. M7 was a fragrance that I had as a youth, and then I ended up picking up the Absolute, which that conjures, as I'm thinking now, that is exactly one of the fragrances that conjures everything that you want in that particular fragrance is showing up in this one in spades. And so if you like YSL M7, I suggest getting your nose on this particular scent. Now, it's not a mimic or a dupe of that particular scent, but it's all those essences. As I think back of what that had, it had the mandarins, it had the corianders, I believe, or the pink pepper, it had myrrh, it had labdanum, it had patchouli. So a lot of the accords, now that I think about it, that were in that actual M7 fragrance are actually in this particular scent. And that's something that just comes to mind. And you can pick up on a lot of M7 essence. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. It's bringing back memories now of yesteryear. I'm very impressed to think about how that came about. Yeah, good scent. Astaral by the house of Xerjoff is one I recommend getting a sample of. I'm very much, you see the bottle is so easy. It's a Fabergé egg style of bottle. Very easy to keep in your hand. Very easy to hold. Very easy to display. Great fragrance overall. This is a scent that like I said, I highly recommend getting that fragrance in your collection so that you can come about as a sexy, alluring, this is a very, very happy fragrance to me. Very happy Oriental fragrance. It's not something that pulls you into the doldrums. It's not something that makes you heavy or feel as though you're doing too much with your fragrance. It's a very effervescent, lively, sweet wood and rose violet floral fragrance that has some resinous and leathery tones to it with a nice base of woods and mosses to make it very masculine fragrance as well. So all in all, that's a very good one to me. I recommend it. Good one. And so today, that has been my video with you guys. This is a great tandem, I think, for you guys to get your mind wrapped around. Let me know what you guys think. This has been the Drew Estate Blackened M81 Toro size 52 ring gauge cigar in collaboration with the Metallica and Blackened whiskey, as well as Xerjoff's Chemi Collection Astaral. And as today I was sipping on a Weller Red today. That's what you saw me sipping on. That's a pretty good blend, a pretty good straight whiskey to sip on when speaking about these fragrances and cigars. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As always, I enjoy you guys tapping in, so please do so for this one. Let me know what you guys think. Are you fans of the M81 cigar, the cigar of choice for this week? And are you fans of Xerjoff's new collection from the Chemi line? Let me know. Tap in with me. Until next time, you guys have a blessed video, or you guys have a blessed day, I should say, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.